Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics. As always, coming to you from the studio that they provide for us, that is home. Nothing better. And how about that Super Bowl? I mean, some names that come, words, I should say, that come to mind for me: stunning, surprising, shocking. I didn't see it coming. I mean, the Eagles were a 1.5-point favorite, but that's the lowest odds that I can remember for a Super Bowl matchup. And everybody thought it was going to be a barn burner, a seat squirmer, anything but. Jalen Hurts, 2 Super Bowls. He's been the best player in both of them. I mean, he outperformed Patrick Mahomes a couple of years ago, but did not win the Super Bowl, so did not get MVP. But he had an MVP performance, and he did get MVP in this Super Bowl with the Eagles' victory. And you look at Jalen Hurts, 17 for 22. Incredible. There's 5 incompletions, 221 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. He ran the ball effectively as well. Had over 70 yards rushing, 72 yards rushing on 11 carries, another touchdown. 3 touchdowns, 1 turnover. Patrick Mahomes, 21 to 32, 257 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Rushed for 25 yards on 4 carries. So, obviously, Jalen Hurts hurt the Chiefs with his legs and with his throwing arm, and he got himself an MVP. I will say, though, that I have more respect for Saquon Barkley now than I did before the game, because he had some tough sledding, man. They were going to make sure that he did not take over the football game. They were going to take Saquon Barkley out of the equation. 57 yards he ends up rushing for. I think it was 25 carries, a little over, less than 3 yards a carry. He also had over 40 yards receiving, so he did almost have 100 total yards. He was a factor, but he was a big factor also in the running game, because what they were doing is they were two-gapping with the defensive linemen, and they weren't penetrating. They were making sure that they were holding their gap integrity. And, they did a good job in controlling Saquon Barkley, but they couldn't rush the passer. I mean, Jalen Hurts had all day to throw the football. And Saquon Barkley said, okay, if that's going to be the case, I'm going to do a hell of a job in blitz pickup. And he blocked his tail off on blitzers and blitz pickup to protect his quarterback. Also, a lead blocker on running plays for Jalen Hurts and others. I mean, Saquon Barkley is a football player. He can block, he can catch, and he can run. And now he's a Super Bowl champion. And that was the most important thing to him, was winning a Super Bowl. Everything else, secondary. Wanted to get the ring. Now he's got the ring. The first half in that football game was unbelievably dominant by the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, the Eagles, in my mind, they came into that football game quietly confident, because all week long, all you heard about was three-peat, three-peat, three-peat. Kansas City Chiefs, can they be the first to three-peat? They're already the first to go to 3 straight Super Bowls. They won 2 of them. Nobody's ever gone to a third after winning 2 in a row. So they already have that record. But boy, can they win 3 in a row? Wouldn't that be unbelievable? Three-peat. Oh, man. That was all you heard. Eagles, quietly confident, getting themselves ready, studying tape, taking care of every detail in preparation for the football game. They focused on football. They said, all right, Eagles, the Chiefs may come in a little bit full of themselves about this three-peat stuff. They jumped on them, man. I mean, dominated them from Jump Street. It was unbelievable. My question is, with Andy Reid, why'd you only run the ball 3 times in the first half? The first play of the game, you gain over 10 yards. You get a first down. Well-designed, well-conceived running play. Ran it twice more in the first half. 3 rushes. Wow. I mean, that's not Andy Reid. Andy Reid likes to be balanced. Andy Reid likes to establish the ground game. He didn't. And as a result, Philadelphia just took over. First half stats. First downs, Philadelphia 13, Kansas City 1. Time of possession, 1 second away from being 2-1. 19 minutes, 59 seconds for Philadelphia, 10 minutes and 1 second for the Chiefs. Almost had a 10-minute time of possession advantage in the first half, not for the game. They averaged 4.6 yards a play. That's good, but it's nothing phenomenal. But how about Kansas City averaging 1.2 yards per play? What? 1.2 yards per play. And you have Patrick Mahomes throwing the football at quarterback. Total yards, Philadelphia 179, Kansas City 23. Philadelphia scored 24 points in the first half. The Chiefs had 23 yards in the first half and got shut out. There's never been a shutout in Super Bowl history. I'm thinking at halftime, wow, this might be. It's possible. Too hard to do, though. In the second half, Kansas City in the third quarter scores 6 points. Kansas City scores 10. So now it's 34-6 at the end of the third quarter. And then, garbage time, whatever. Kansas City scores a couple of touchdowns, 16 points in the fourth quarter, and Philadelphia scores 6, 40-22. But that score is not indicative of how dominant, I think, the performance was for the Philadelphia Eagles. Kelsey, no catches in the first half. It's the first time in his career, his postseason career, that he's been shut out. No catches. I think he had 3 targets, but no catches. Patrick Mahomes, first game in the regular season and the postseason where he threw multiple interceptions and was sacked at least 3 times in the first half. This is the first game that's happened where he's thrown multiple interceptions and sacked 3 times or more in the first half of any playoff game. He's been shut out 3 times in the first half in his career now. Lowest total yards in the first half for the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes playing quarterback for this storied franchise. I mean, unbelievable. Saquon Barkley, though, he only needed 30 yards to break Davis's rushing yardage record in the regular season and postseason, and he did get 57, so he did get that record. And I'm glad that Saquon Barkley got that record. But man, what an unbelievable performance that the Philadelphia Eagles had. Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, he's going to go to the Saints. I'm probably be announced sometime today. This is the day after the Super Bowl. I'm talking to you, and he's got the Saints job, obviously. So he'll go to the Saints head coaching position with his final game as offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, a 40-burger. They score 40 points and handle business in the Super Bowl. How about defensively? The performance of the Philadelphia Eagles defense was incredible. Vic Fangio, what a game plan. He rushed 4 and dropped 7 into coverage the entire day. Now, rushing 4, he didn't rush any more than 4 at any time, so technically he never blitzed because he never had more than 4 rushers. But the 4 rushers were different. He had some simulated pressures. He'd drop a defensive lineman out and rush a linebacker, rush a slot corner, rush a safety. He did a little bit of that. He made the Kansas City Chiefs think a little bit in terms of protections, who they were picking up, how they were picking them up. But it didn't matter who he was rushing. Man, 6 quarterback sacks, 1 short of a Super Bowl record. The Eagles have 6 and 2.5 off the edge. I mean, there was some dominance going on there. You got Tooney playing left tackle for the Chiefs. He's an all-pro left guard, but not a left tackle. And you got a deal where Sweat just dominated him. 2.5 sack game for Sweat. But never rushed more than 4, but he did have 4 rushers, and they were different rushers, false pressures and all that, like I talked about. But they always had 7 into coverage, and what he would do, what Fangio was doing, was giving Mahomes different looks, pre-snap, post-snap. And I've never seen the look on Patrick Mahomes' face that I saw in that football game. And some of it, I think, was uncertainty about what he was looking at. But the other part of it was, man, he just got pressured. He was pressured 38.2% of the snaps. Are you kidding? Without bringing more than 4? Almost 2 out of every 5 opportunities to throw the football, he's pressured right away. That's unbelievable. That's dominance right there. The uncertainty was very obvious. Reed Blankenship was the robber at safety, and they played cover 1, they played cover 4, they played some shell. They obviously had a good pressure performance during the course of the football game. But in my mind, a guy that had a hell of a game, Saquon Barkley, it was his birthday in the Super Bowl 59. It was also Cooper DeJean's 22nd birthday. And Cooper DeJean had himself a day. He was the shadow on Kelsey. Cooper DeJean was everywhere Kelsey goes. Cooper DeJean's going. He had the pick six. I mean, that pick six, that basically said, Philadelphia, it's your football game. That was a blow right there. That was a knockout punch. Pick six on his birthday. First time in NFL history a player has gotten a pick six on his birthday. And Cooper DeJean decides to do it in the Super Bowl. That's a record you'll never forget. You set an NFL record that nobody else has ever done, and you do it in the Super Bowl? Yeah. Well, Cooper DeJean, what a pick. What a draft pick there. So much to talk about in that football game. Bottom line is penalties killed the Kansas City Chiefs. Turnovers, they went -2. They turned it over 3 times. Philadelphia turned it over once. But the game, what's the name of this podcast? In the trenches. The game was won and lost in the trenches. The Philadelphia Eagles offensive line is enormous, athletic, can move. They dominated the line of scrimmage. And on the other way around as well. The Philadelphia Eagles defense just took care of business, man. I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs could get nothing going. Patrick Mahomes was a shell of himself. And it's all due to, I don't care who you have at the quarterback position. If you give him no time to look, survey the football field, go through his progressions, make reads, doesn't matter. This game was won and lost in the trenches. And I appreciate you guys listening to us in the trenches. That's our Super Bowl recap. Brought to you by In the Trenches with Dave Lapham and First Star Logistics. Have the best day you ever had. Hey, Dave Lapham here. While games are over for the season, there's no off-season for the First Star Media Group or First Star Logistics. Join me in the trenches and Joe Goodberry of Bengals on the Brain here on the First Star Media Group YouTube channel. First Star Logistics gave away great prizes during the season, which will continue with exclusive content and special giveaways during the off-season. So please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button to help us continue to grow the channel.